The 2025 NFL preseason is in the books. The next time you see your Buffalo Bills will be facing off against the Baltimore Ravens in Week 1 on Sunday Night Football. But on today's show, we got to break down the winners and the losers from the Bills preseason finale against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Before we get into it, though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because we will be covering your Buffalo Bills all season long. The coverage doesn't stop when the preseason does. We are making content for you guys every single day of the regular season and beyond. So make sure you are subscribed. 5,196 people have already joined the Mafia here on the Bills Breakdown. And my season goal is 15K. If you love the Buffalo Bills and you want free content every single day, go right down below and hit that subscribe button for free. The first winner against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in preseason week 3, Cole Bishop, a big-time bounce back after initially kind of scaring a lot of Bills fans in that preseason week 2 game against the Chicago Bears. It looked like a player that was kind of getting off a bunch of rust in that game. He did not look like that against Tampa Bay. The stats don't tell the whole story. He absolutely was playing with intensity, playing with intention, really, against Tampa Bay. Like, he was playing with so much speed, going downhill. They were sending him off the edge on blitzes, and he had a bunch of nice tackles in the run game as well. Look, the pass coverage against the Bears starters in preseason week 2 was not great, and it was definitely cause for some concern. But Cole Bishop was a guy who was coming off of an injury and just needed to shake off a bunch of rust. It doesn't look like he had much of that rust in preseason week 3, and it looks like, in all likelihood, he is going to be your starting safety alongside Taylor Rapp to open the season at least. Moving on to our second winner from Tampa Bay's game, Deone Walker. You could argue that Deone Walker is the most impressive rookie that the Bills have showcased in the preseason thus far. Obviously, we know Maxwell Harrison has not played in the preseason. He has been suffering that knee injury and recovering from the sprained MCL, and his status for week 1 is up in the air. But then you go all the way to the 4th round of the NFL draft this past April, and Deone Walker is making a name for himself, showing that he fell way too far in the draft. He was a freak at Kentucky, and he's a freak in Buffalo now. 345 pounds of pure intensity here. Multiple stops behind the line of scrimmage. He had a nice pressure that delayed a screen pass that ended up getting stopped at the line of scrimmage. So, this guy is a player who can rush the passer. He can stop the run. He just plugs the hole down there in the interior of the defensive line. And, the Bills have a fair number of question marks down there, considering the way that their run defense has performed over the past couple of seasons. I think Deone Walker has carved himself out a spot in this rotation for the Bills early on this season in his rookie year. Moving on to the third winner, and you could argue maybe this is the biggest winner of preseason week 3, Tyrell Shavers. My friend, I got one sentence for you. Welcome to the 53-man roster. You absolutely showed out and made one more statement if you hadn't already. I really thought Tyrell Shavers was a roster lock heading into preseason week 3, and then he just slammed the door shut. What a grab on that touchdown. One hand, defender draped all over him, against the sideline, gets the feet down. It was all brought in with that one arm. I mean, Josh Allen gave him a big old hug walking back into the tunnel after this game wrapped up, and I'm really excited to see the opportunities that he gets in the regular season, because the opportunities that Tyrell Shavers has gotten in the preseason, he has made the absolute most of them. And he provides awesome special teams versatility as well. So he's going to be seeing the field a lot for your Buffalo Bills this season. I hope some of it is at the wide receiver spot as well. Moving on to our fourth winner of preseason week 3, Zach Davidson. And look, Zach Davidson might not make this roster. I do think he is guaranteed to be back with the practice squad, though, and he was an awesome watch in this game, to be quite honest with you. 2 catches for 27 yards, had a nice catch and run on one of those, and he got Shiloh Sanders ejected from the game. Got Shiloh Sanders to throw a punch at him and did the too small taunt on him thereafter as well. And I just thought he played well. I just thought he was a vibes guy, like good intensity, and a player that, Bills fans probably want around, at least on the practice squad capacity this upcoming season. And he showed that he probably belongs there over some of the tight ends that are further down the depth chart beyond him. Name a winner from Bills Buccaneers preseason game week 3. I don't know, man. I think that we got a couple of questions answered here in the preseason finale. Cole Bishop looked awesome. Shavers stamped his spot on the roster. And Deone Walker did more of his thing that he's already done in the preseason, mucking up the middle of that defensive line. Last preseason winner here in week 3, Shane Buechele, man. I mean, what a day. What a day. He might have gotten himself a practice squad spot over Mike White, who did not appear in this game at all. It seems like the Bills have already wrapped up their QB2 competition between White and Trubisky, and they gave Shane Buechele the entire keys to the Ferrari here I guess maybe not the Ferrari of a Bills offense that they had in this week, but the 25 of 30 speaks for itself, man. He was completing passes with confidence. He was in rhythm. When the pocket collapsed, he was escaping, being flushed out, keeping his eyes downfield, doing all the things that like good quarterbacks do. He looked really nice in this game, had a nice touchdown as well. And look, he kept the Bills offense moving better than any quarterback has in the preseason so far. So hats off to Buechele, and potentially could be a member of this Bills practice squad over a guy like Mike White. I'm dead serious about that. Mike White might have to go find another spot to play on the practice squad or on a 53-man roster somewhere. He didn't show that he belonged on any 53-man for the Bills this preseason. So shout out to Buechele, man. He made the most of his big-time opportunity through 4 quarters. Next, we're going to get to the losers from preseason week 3. 5 winners, 5 losers, but they're not crazy losers, but a couple of these guys might not end up making the roster. We'll get to that in just a moment, but get hooked up with our sponsor on the program as well, and that is, of course, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is back for football season. You can win up to 2,000 times your money watching your Buffalo Bills this season. Isn't there any better thing to do in life? I don't think so. That's for sure. It's fast and easy withdrawals. It's fast and easy selections because all you guys got to do is pick more or less on players' projected stats. 2 to 6 to be exact, and not just pro football. You can combine it with college football, baseball. You got the playoffs coming up over there as well, and you guys can get hooked up with some awesome deals on Prize Picks as well, like a free $50 in your account when you sign up. Use our promo code CLNS and place your first $5 entry. If you want to see what an entry looks like on Prize Picks, here's mine, but it's not a great one. It's from the preseason week 3 game. I had Frank Gore Jr. to go more than 33.5 rushing yards. He only had 32. I had Ryan Miller more than 22.5 receiving yards. He only had 18. And Mike White, of course, didn't play. So Prize Picks will just reboot that square and give it a 2-player entry. You can tell my picks or fade them because I'm better in the regular season. Just do it at Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the promo code CLNS. That's CLNS for $50 instantly when you place your first $5 entry. You don't even need to win that entry to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. All that information will be clickable down in the comment section and description of today's video. The first loser in the Tampa Bay game, the kickoff coverage. I have to pull up this stat for you guys. The Bills, by the way, in 5 kickoff returns, had let up 190 yards. That's 38 yards per kickoff return. That included a return of, I believe, 58 yards, a return of 47 yards, and a return of 32 yards as well. Yeah, 57, 42, and 38. That's crazy. It's unbelievable. And they had a nice punt return as well for 22 yards. Kickoff is a spot where guys in this game specifically can make their presence felt, can make their name known, can stamp themselves on the 53-man roster. And a lot of guys probably didn't do that for themselves today. So not good kickoff return coverage or really punt return coverage from the Bills whatsoever in preseason week 3. And that's probably one of the areas that you probably should have shined in the most with no starters really on this roster playing at all. Next loser for the Bills, Laviska Shenault, because one, he was one of those guys who was missing multiple tackles, like multiple whiffs, like bad ones. And look, Shenault is a wide receiver. He isn't a player who is necessarily gunning on kickoffs and what have you, but he didn't do much for himself in the receiving game today, didn't do much for himself in the kickoff return game, and on the kickoff coverage game, he was absolutely abysmal. And there's been a sort of battle going on between Shenault and Codrington to be the primary return man for this team upcoming this season. I don't think either one of those two guys did themselves many favors in this game. You could end up seeing a guy like KJ Hamler end up getting on this 53-man roster because he provides the best overall positional value as his wide receiver, and he can return kicks as well. So Shenault is probably unlikely to make the 53-man. Possibility for the practice squad, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that either. Another loser for preseason week 3, Daquan Hardy. And this is not all his fault 100%. Look, Hardy is a boundary corner, but with the injuries that Bills have in that room right now, he had to play a ton of snaps in the slot today. And Tex, if you could go to the Tez Johnson live stats here, we can kind of just show the damage that was able to be done on Hardy in coverage tonight. It was wild. They were peppering Tez Johnson all throughout that first half. 8 catches, 58 yards, and a touchdown. He was getting shifty out there, and he was making Hardy's life hell. Hardy's not a player who's going to be making this 53-man roster upcoming, but if there was any chance of him doing so, he didn't do much to make his chances better in this game. But again, not 100% his fault, playing a little bit of a different position in this one, as he's typically on the outside. They had him playing on the inside in this against Tampa. Next loser, Hedefon Olafosio, and look, he didn't really shine to me as much at all in this game. Has been a player who has had not really the best overall camp, and he's a 2024 fifth-round pick that is in grave danger of not making the roster this upcoming season. Had 3 tackles, had a QB hit, but who was subbed into him beforehand? Jimmy Claro, not good. Jimmy Ciarlo or Charlo, yes, Charlo. Jimmy Charlo, who was making a name for himself all camp long, was subbed in before Olafosio, and that is kind of spelling doom for him making the 53 this upcoming year. I don't think Charlo is definitely going to make 100% going to make it either, but he definitely has a better chance as he was subbed in ahead of Olafosio in this preseason Week 3 matchup. And EU, he didn't make much noise for me in this one. Last loser against Tampa Bay, Elijah Moore. And look, he didn't have the number of drops that he necessarily had in the Chicago game, but he didn't really have much going on at all. 3 catches, 8 yards. And this is a player who, is best with the ball in his hands. He did have a play as well where the Bills had a 3rd and 4, and he ended up catching the ball, and he was short of the line to gain. Just simple little things like that are going to be the difference in Elijah Moore making or missing this 53-man roster. Look, I know he signed a guaranteed contract in free agency, and maybe that's why he ends up making this roster, and he didn't end up playing in the second half of this game, so maybe that is a little bit indicative of the case as well. But he did himself no favors to raise himself up this wide receiver depth chart to be above a guy like Curtis Samuel, who didn't even play in preseason Week 3. So Elijah Moore didn't really inspire me and hasn't really inspired me at all throughout this preseason after a pretty shaky camp as well. Name a loser from Bills versus Buccaneers preseason Week 3. Look, maybe Elijah Moore looks better with Josh Allen under center than the guys that they have backing him up, but he has not done much for me so far in this preseason. Let me know who the loser is from the Bills-Bucs game down in the comments section. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That will do it for today's edition of the Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. Lock us in for the best Bills content all season long because it's finally here. We'll see you guys in the next one. And as always, let's go Bills.